The M1911, also known as the Government or Colt Government, is a single-action, semi-automatic, magazine-fed, recoil-operated pistol chambered for the .45 ACP cartridge. It served as the standard-issue sidearm for the United States Armed Forces from 1911 to 1986. It was widely used in World War I, World War II, the Korean War, and the Vietnam War. The U.S. procured around 2.7 million M1911 and M1911A1 pistols in military contracts during its service life. The M1911 was replaced by the Beretta M9 pistol as the standard U.S. sidearm in October 1986, but due to its popularity among users, it has not been completely phased out. Modernized derivative variants of the M1911 are still in use by some units of the U.S. Army Special Forces and the U.S. Navy. Designed by John Browning, the M1911 is the best known of his designs to use the short recoil principle in its basic design. The pistol was widely copied, and this operating system rose to become the preeminent type of the 20th century and of nearly all modern centerfire pistols. It is popular with civilian shooters in competitive events such as USPSA, ITPA, International Practical Shooting Confederation, and bullseye shooting. Following its success in trials, the Colt pistol was formally adopted by the Army on March 29, 1911, when it was designated Model of 1911, later changed to Model 1911, in 1917, and then M1911, in the mid-1920s. The Director of Civilian Marksmanship began manufacture of M1911 pistols for members of the National Rifle Association in August 1912. The M1911 was formally adopted by the U.S. Navy and Marine Corps in 1913. By the beginning of 1917, a total of 68,533 M1911 pistols had been delivered to U.S. Armed Forces by Colt's Patent Firearms Manufacturing Company and the U.S. government's Springfield Armory. World War II and the years leading up to it created a great demand. During the war, about 1.9 million units were procured by the U.S. government for all forces, production being undertaken by several manufacturers, including Remington Rand, Colt, Ithaca Gun Company, Union Switch and Signal, and Singer. New M1911A1 pistols were given a parkerized metal finish instead of bluing, and the wood grip panels were replaced with panels made of brown plastic. The M1911A1 was a favored small arm of both U.S. and Allied military personnel during the war. In particular, the pistol was prized by some British commando units and Britain's highly covert Special Operations Executive, as well as South African Commonwealth forces. So many 1911A1 pistols were produced during the war that the government cancelled all post-war contracts for new production, instead choosing to rebuild existing pistols with new parts, which were then refinished and tested for functioning. After World War II, the M1911 continued to be a mainstay of the U.S. Armed Forces in the Korean War and the Vietnam War. It was used during Desert Storm in specialized U.S. Army units and U.S. Navy Mobile Construction Battalions, CBs, and has seen service in both Operation Iraqi Freedom and Operation Enduring Freedom, with U.S. Army Special Forces groups and Marine Corps Force reconnaissance companies. However, by the late 1970s, the M1911A1 was acknowledged to be showing its age. Under political pressure from Congress to standardize on a single modern pistol design, the U.S. Air Force ran a Joint Service Small Arms program to select a new semi-automatic pistol using the NATO standard 9mm Parabellum pistol cartridge. After trials, the Beretta 92S1 was chosen. The Army contested this result and subsequently ran its own competition in 1981, the XM9 trials, eventually leading to the official adoption of the Beretta 92F on January 14, 1985. During the Gulf War of 1990 to 1991, M1911A1s were deployed with reserve component U.S. Army units sent to participate in Operation Desert Storm. By the early 1990s, most M1911A1s had been replaced by the Beretta M9, though a limited number remain in use by special units. Dissatisfaction with the stopping power of the 9mm Parabellum cartridge used in the Beretta M9 has actually promoted readoption of pistols based on the .45 ACP cartridge such as the M1911 design, along with other pistols, among USACOM units in recent years, though the M9 remains predominant both within SOCOM and in the U.S. military in general.